In this video, you'll learn another traditional Chinese medical way to observe the 3 primary body types in your healing work. Here's Dr. Malik Cotter.
Let's take a look at body types. Every medical tradition, every, we'll say, society, every energetic aspect usually breaks, all these different cultures, they all break the body into certain categories. Again, we're looking for pieces to the jigsaw puzzle so we can get a good picture of how we need to assess and evaluate. And like I said before, assessment evaluation is probably the most difficult part of being with a client and doing healing work. Body types. There are 3 primary body types, and we're a composite of all of these. Rarely do you find one person who's just one body type. We're a mix of all 3, but we usually have one that's predominating. And that predominating body type is going to be like the lead pony on your team of horses. It's going to direct. It's going to take the lead. So if we can figure out the body type, then we have insight into what's happening in that person's body, because the body types have different propensities. They have different affinities towards certain conditions, certain organs, and certain tissue, and certain ways of being. In traditional Chinese medicine, we call it the upper burner, we would call a shangjiao. In the middle, we'd call zhongjiao. And in the bottom, the lower burner, we would call xiajiao. In Ayurvedic medicine, this would be Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. In ancient Greek medicine of the Mediterranean, this would be wind, this would be phlegm, this would be bile. In Western scientific medicine, it's called ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph. And what that does is it's based on the type of tissue. That's why we call them these different ways, these different names, but they have correspondences. So let's take a look at the first one, the ectomorphic body type. The ectomorphic body type is primarily running out of their energy level from the first burner, respiration, circulation. An ectomorph body type is usually the tall, lean, thin. They're the ones who are a little bit more delicate, their tissue is more delicate, their nervous system is more delicate. You're going to find the ectomorph body type because of the lungs and heart and this respiration circulation in the first burning space of the triple warmer. You're going to find the predominant ectomorph having a little bit more problems with the lungs and respiration, more asthma, bronchitis, gets cold, catches the common cold or an influenza easily. The lungs rule the skin. So you will also see in the ectomorph the dry skin. When the lungs are off balance, they will go dry. The skin will go dry. That's how it will show itself. Please remember, everything is telling us something. Everything is just letting us know what's going on. All we need to do is read and get our decoders set out, and then we can start figuring out what's being told to us. So the ectomorphic first burner, respiration, circulation, tall, thin, more linear, delicate, nervous system, lungs, skin, a lot of mental and intellectual energy. These are the ones that will sit down and you say, well, let's go do something fun. And they'll say, great, I got 2 books I want to read. Or you can get into a discussion with them and they will throw facts and figures and data and things out at you that you have no idea because their intellect is so sharp. These are the people that you want to listen to, but you don't want to get into a discussion or a debate because they will definitely throw intellectual and mental energy at you. So the ectomorph, again, remember please, lungs, skin, nervous system, intellectual, pituitary gland oriented, tall, thin, skinny, linear, delicate. The second burning space is the endomorph body type, from the tip of the sternum to the navel. And as you can see in this area here, it's digestion. That's that burning space. So the endomorph is primarily going to be guided, its energy is primarily going to come from the digestion. What is an endomorph body type? If an ectomorph is tall and thin and linear, what's an endomorph? Endomorphs are more rounded, soft tissue, big body, big boned. You see a lot of your endomorphic were going to be like your sports people, the 6'8", 265-pound sport athlete. More than likely is going to be an endomorphic body type. Endomorph, they usually have large digestive organs, because remember, the endomorph is this middle burning space. That's where you're going to have your digestive energy. Pancreas, stomach, gallbladder, liver, duodenum. This is all going to be involved in the digestion. The endomorph will actually have the digestion can either be in a good way or maybe a little sluggish. And that sluggishness of an endomorph, it's because their body is not digesting what they're taking in at the rate that it could be. So they'll accumulate some fat. The endomorph usually has large thighs, large trunk. They're going to be big, big boned, heavy set. The endomorph actually is much more involved with emotional energy, as the ectomorph was more involved in intellectual energy. So the emotional energy and the sensitivity of the endomorph becomes actually a highlight or a low light. It all depends on how they're using what they got. Now, the endomorph has a lot to do with blood sugar, has a lot to do with the pancreas, which is the endocrine gland that's involved in that with the endomorph. As where the ectomorph was pituitary, the endomorph is pancreas. So the blood sugar, it's also going to have a lot to do with bowel movements. You're going to find the endomorph is going to be, when it comes to bowel movements, they'll have sluggish bowels, maybe an incomplete evacuation. As where the ectomorph will be more drying, they'll have more of a tight or a harder bowel movement, because it's not sliding, it's not the moisture, the lubrication is not in the large bowel. So this will tell you that they both can be constipated, but one can be because from a dryness, and the other one could be from just lack of energy pushing the fecal matter out. So the endomorph has a lot to do with digestion. The third body type is the mesomorph. Now the mesomorph is going to be more rectangular shaped, well proportioned, more muscular, more bones and connective tissue oriented, more hot, more heating, more bily. The adrenals, the kidneys, the blood, these are all related with the mesomorph. As where the ectomorph is more intellectual and the endomorph is more sensitive and emotional, the mesomorph is going to be more physical. This is the one that's going to say, come on, let's wrestle, as opposed to let's sit down and read a book together, or let's talk about how you feel. So the mesomorph is more physical, has more of a heating capability, which draws on the liver also and the bile to produce that heat. It's very hot. It's a very hot energy the mesomorph contains. So it will actually, the mesomorph will burn the adrenals out because they're doing too much, too often, too quick, too soon. So we need to pay attention to see what our body type is and how we can balance our body type. What are the pitfalls and what are the blessings that we have with our predominant body type? So please remember, in ancient Greece, it was wind, ectomorph, lungs, circulation, respiration. Ancient Greece, it was bile for the endomorph is what they called it, fat accumulation, digestion, phlegm. And the last is mesomorphic, which is your bile, which is hot and heating, adrenals, kidneys, bladder, blood, physical energy. So there's a little recap and a little bit more understanding of our three body types.